Hello everyone and welcome to the Numpy crash course. My name is Shaheed.
And my name is Hamad, and we are the ones who are going to lead you through this course. In this video, we will go over the course content, prerequisites for the course, what Numpy is, and the applications of this amazing library. And finally, we will set up our environment to work with Numpy. The only prerequisite of this course is to have a basic and fundamental knowledge of the programming language Python. Though writing code alongside us seems like a very good idea, we would suggest a different way of learning. First, watch the whole video and try to soak in as much information as you possibly can. And also take notes alongside us to help you concentrate and remember the theory. To test yourself on the section of the code, after you are done with the video, try to replicate what concepts in the code that was created. Then, go into the description of the video and go into the Google Collaboratory that we have shared, where all the code and the notes will be.
Numpy is a popular Python library that adds support for large multi-dimensional arrays and matrices along with many other high-level functions and computational methods on these arrays. For someone just starting out, this may not make a lot of sense, but let us elaborate in the further sections of this video. The main uses of Numpy are to create arrays. But what are arrays? An array is just a data structure that contains a collection of elements, and each of these elements are called or identified using their own key. These arrays are stored in such a way that the position of each element inside the array can be obtained using the array's keys. This is probably going to be confusing for most of you, but simply put, an array is just a grid of values. And these grid of values all have the same corresponding value. The array object in Numpy is called ND-array, which stands for n-dimensional array, meaning it can be any dimensional array. For example, like 1, 2, 3, or 4. Still confusing? Don't worry, by the end of this crash course, you'll have a thorough understanding of what arrays are and why they are used.
Using the definition of what an array is, you may have noticed that Numpy arrays seem kind of similar to Python lists in the way that they both contain elements and can be accessed through the use of an identifier, or in this case, an index. The main difference between Numpy arrays and Python lists is that Numpy arrays are way faster. They're like Python lists on steroids. In fact, they are 50 times faster. This is due to a couple of reasons. One of the main reasons is something called locality of reference in computer science, meaning that Numpy arrays are stored in one continuous place of memory, while lists are not. This means that Numpy arrays can process actions, be accessed, and manipulated very efficiently and very fast. Another reason is that Numpy is optimized to work with the latest CPU architectures. While the Numpy array is a Python library, the parts that are required to handle fast computation are written in C and C++, while parts of the library is written in Python. And many of you would know that C and C++ are considered to be the fastest programming languages. We will not go into details of C and C++ in this video, but you can research this on your own time.
Numpy is used in many different data science fields, and also used a lot in machine learning, with popular frameworks like TensorFlow. So what are you waiting for? Let's start learning Numpy. But before we start, I'm going to let Hamad take over and explain how we're going to set up our environment.
The first thing we're going to do is set up our environment. This is where all our code is going to be written, so this is a very important part. We're going to be using Google Colab for our videos, but you can use Jupyter Notebook or PyCharm or any other ones that you prefer. What we're going to do is open up a new tab, and when you see these 9 dots, just click on it on Google Apps and click on Drive. When you're brought to this screen, you're going to click on New, and you're going to make a new folder. We're going to call this Coding Matrix Course. You can call it whatever you want, and we've created this. As you can see, it's shown up here. Now we're going to open up another tab, and we're going to search for Google Colab. Click on the first one that you see, and you're going to be prompted to this screen. It's going to say what is Collaboratory, getting started, and data science, and it's going to explain what Google Colab is. We're not going to read this yet, and we're just going to sign in. When you've signed in, you're going to see this screen over here. If you've created any files previously, you're going to see them down below, and this is your history. And if you've just signed in and this is your first time using Collaboratory, you're going to see this, Welcome to Collaboratory. We're not going to click this. What we're going to do instead is make our own notebook. Now, you see this screen over here. We can title this to intro. And before we write any code, I'm going to explain to you briefly what Google Colab is and why I use it personally. So Google Colab allows you to write code using Google's computers. This means that you don't need a beefy computer, and Chrome OS users finally get love. And if you're using anything other than Google Colab, you have to install Numpy. So we're going to do command prompt, shell, terminal, or whatever platform you're on. And we're going to pip install Numpy. For me, it says requirement already satisfied since I already have Numpy installed. But for you, it should start downloading if it's your first time using Numpy. We don't need the command prompt anymore, so we're just going to click out of this. Now, the first line of code we write whenever we're using Numpy is to import it. So we're going to import Numpy, but we're going to add a little bit extra to it. We're going to import Numpy as np. What this does is whenever we're calling Numpy, we can refer to it as np. Let me give you an example. We're going to print, and we're going to find the version of Numpy using this command. np dot underscore underscore version underscore underscore. See how we called Numpy using np? If this was not called as np, this is how we would have to write it. It would be print parentheses numpy dot underscore underscore version underscore underscore. See, when we're writing Numpy so many times, it can get a little bit frustrating to keep writing Numpy, so we can just call it np. And us programmers, we are lazy, so we're going to call it like this. And this is going to stay throughout all our videos. And now, see, this is a cell right here. And we can add to one cell by clicking the enter button and keep it when we can write our code. And to run this cell, what we're going to do is we're going to click this run button on the left right here. What this does is gives us our version. And now we know that we have the latest version, which is 1.18.3. This tells us that Numpy has been installed properly and the version is correct as well. To add a new cell in Google Collaboratory, we can click on the code button. Or we can click on the text button if we want to give the users any context. And previously, we created a folder for Coding Matrix course. What we're going to do is click on the Google Collaboratory logo. And this is your Google Collaboratories. All show up over here. But if you have a lot of Google Collaboratories, this can get very messy very quick. So what we're going to do is going to hold this. And you're going to see this intro show up like this. And we're going to go on My Drive and just hover on top of it. Now we're going to find Coding Matrix course, or whatever you call the folder. You're going to just drag it onto it. And see, intro has been removed from Google Colab to Coding Matrix course. Now we're going to double click on this and we can see that the first collaboratory shows up over here. This allows for an organized manner whenever you're using Google Collaboratory, and it's a good practice to create folders for whatever course or whatever you're using. And whenever you watch our videos, you can add it to this folder or your folder. Thank you for watching, and if you did enjoy, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.